Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am Rhonda Fair from Feed from His Basket. And whose basket are we talking about? Well, as far as I know, it's called love. A very good day too. It's a very hot, warm day outside, so stay nice and cool. If you're going to Gibbons Park, they have a splash pad there. They have a pool there. I haven't even gone into that. There's a place to fish, a place to play, a place to picnic, a place to chat, a place to sleep, whatever you want to do. Yeah, very true. Say again, a very good afternoon too. And across the universe, morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are. Do you like chemistry? I used to think I didn't like chemistry a whole lot at first, but yeah, I love chemistry. Someone just put, happy birthday to you. Yeah. And chemistry. Well, if we didn't have chemistry, which would really suck, how would we get to know each other? Isn't that what gets us going, is chemistry between two people, or between a group of family members, or at work, or something that excited us? It was a chemistry that got us going. Also, if we didn't have chemistry, well, we need a lot of that going on inside our bodies. You know, I need a good jolt going in the heart, or a good cleansing. And chemistry is very important. Warren Buffett, I was listening to him early this morning. I love listening to him. I never used to listen to him much, but I'm listening to him, and he's got a lot of knowledge and wisdom. That's right. And he's not, it's an interesting thing. He talks about finances, about investments. But everything that he talks about in finances and investments and in wise choices, and to wait, not to jump into something. Like, just get right into it. Like, just wait until the right time. When he was talking about that, I was thinking, wow, we need to do that in a relationship. And isn't that what he's doing? He's building a relationship. He's building a what? He's building an empire, and it's with love. And to be wise, he talks about, you got all kinds of money? Spend it, enjoy it. But first, pay your bills. Use wisdom, okay? But pay your bills, but spend it, enjoy it. And you have that kind of money to spend. It's on your heart. Bless somebody. Bless another. Bless another. But observe. Observe. I love listening to him. Yeah. I enjoyed that this morning. He talks about things that I talk about. He talks about love. He talks about wisdom and knowledge. That's why I like talking about, or listening to him so much more, because he talks about the Father. He talks about friends. He talks about being a husband. He talks about the judgment day. He talks about walking in the right path, and to be patient, and to embrace. He talks about how people need to be there for each other, building each other up and not tearing another one down. To learn from your mistakes so you don't stay into insanity, but you are ignorant and become more wise and more knowledgeable. But not do the same thing over and over and over and over again, because you start eating your own vomit. So when I listen to him, that's all I can think about. So you ever want to have a good lesson? Want to learn about finance, investments and stuff, and how he started out when he was 11 years old? I'm sure a lot of us started doing that. I remember getting bonds and everything. I was saving. And then what did I do? I ended up on the wrong direction, wrong path, and I had to learn from my mistakes, and I kept learning, and I was eating my own vomit. So I had to stop. So it's interesting enough. It's different, though, when someone is oppressing and causing this, or stealing all your ideas and stuff like that. That's just evil. I love coming up with ideas. I like helping other people. I remember doing that at Fanshawe College. Does that make me a better person? No. But if I can help somebody else, that will help me grow. All right, and that's out of love. Be careful what kind of ideas you give out, because unfortunately, but it's true, we're in a fallen world and dark hearts do dark things. They take your ideas, invest in it, and make lots of money. And it's happened to me. It's happened to me. Okay, so again, I always think, wonder if I should even come up with any ideas like out loud, because I speak out loud. It's a habit of mine, But again, let's learn and grow from each other and get some chemistry going. Another good one is don't jump into a partnership, relationship, just like that. So take those emotions, shove them in your pocket, leave them in there for a while, right? Observe. Doesn't take that long to observe somebody. And they don't have to know you're observing them. You can, they have no idea that you don't let them know that. See how they treat animals. See how they treat other people. And so on. See if they like hidden agendas. They don't like to, that's different from keeping their life private, okay? There's difference. Okay, just observing all these things. And it becomes part of your life every day. So it's not hard. It's not hard work. You're going to be sitting there relaxing. And it's and just listen to the people. Listen. A man was testing me, and he did it on purpose, and I thank him for that. I've had quite a few men do that. Oh, Rhonda. But he wasn't aggressive. And I listened to him. And I thought, you're doing this deliberately, aren't you? So, and so that I worked on what he was saying. Oh. Then I remembered from a person I knew a long time ago, from Bible study. I used to read to his family all the time. He was man of the year, and he has all kinds of things in his past. He don't talk about it. I didn't even know until he told me to do a background check. The thing is, I took some of that wisdom and I started using it on everybody else. Because it's not something I always did. Right? So, also, you get flirty-twirty with people. We're all looking for attention, so be careful on that. Put your boundaries in there. Oh, yeah. Trust me. You learn. If you learn from your mistakes, I'm applauding you. I'm applauding you on that one. Because I'm applauding myself on that one. Again, love. So, when Warren was talking about all this, it took me exactly right into truth about everything that he said. And when I go down and I see other people and I hear, and I said to the one woman down there, I was, honestly, I don't play well. The only time I'm going to play games is if I voluntarily join to play games. But, don't try to play mind games, because I am very good, and that's just who I am. It's just something about me. You try and do the word try, which could mean you can do well or you could fail. And after I've studied the person for a while, you'll never have me back in your life. And if they never cared in the first place, what's the big difference, right? But the thing is, we're supposed to spread love. We're supposed to build each other up. And how do you build each other up? Is by getting the knowledge. By getting the knowledge. You cannot build another person up if you do not know. And you go, well, yeah, I do. I do it here and I do it. No, I mean truly build another up without your boundaries being broken. Yeah. It's interesting because there's one thing that I've learned even from the Word of God, from explaining the Word, how we can be really faulty if we're not careful, if we are not led the right way. I ain't got no magic powers or nothing like that. I have nothing like that. I'm a human being, and I'm having these health issues. I like to speak life upon them, and I don't want to dwell on them. I don't want to dwell in on them because then I get anxious. But the thing is, we're human beings, and none of us have that kind of power. There's only one, that's God. And he's given us a will, he's given us choices, and what we want to do in our life. This thing's giving me itchy. These rubber things on here. Anyways, along with this, ladies and gentlemen, and children, if you're out there, children, if you have any issues, and, bring it forward. Never be afraid to speak up. And if you are uncomfortable around other people, children, let others know. Never be afraid to let others know that you're uncomfortable around people. And it does not matter who they are. Speak up. That's right. Because a person, they have to be able to help build you, be able to have ears to listen, not just adults. Children, we have to have ears to listen to you. Because there's things that you might explain to us that we might not understand right away, that we need to listen. Because we all have different ways of showing how we feel. Yeah. So it can be in all kinds of ways, right? And with the adults. Now, talking about that, I would like to say this right out. This book here is never, ever, 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 ever to be forced on anyone. Okay? This book here is to teach us knowledge. And it teaches me history and chemistry and mathematics and all the sciences there is. All the sciences. So what your teacher is teaching you, if it's truth, it'll come from here. Okay. So in this truth, right, it tells you never to force. It tells you to test. Test what? Well, we want to test people. How do we do that? In their walk. So if someone speaks and does not act upon what they say, they failed the test. Now, there's times when we can't always do it, but if it's consistent, if you recognize a consistency, right, that is showing that they failed the test. So you always test someone. When you're testing someone, if you want to be with them, don't just, one thing you want to be very careful of, because if you have chemistry with someone and you get that all tingly or whatever, I know you want to just grab each other and do all kinds of things, but just get to know each other a little bit. If just do little things like that. It's like a chemistry that will work out well. It'll fall into your lap nice and easy and gently. Now, if someone does not belong to you and you are showing signs of jealousy, there's something the matter. There's something the matter. Or if the person is placing some kind of thing on you, like showing signs that they like you and lying about their life, just observe. Observe. It's very good because you get this all from the author. That's right. The author of truth. So in this, I know it sounds rattly. And breathe out. And that's because, when we get anxious or excited, we can't breathe right. So God alone is the author, and he's the editor of the book. So in this, I would not take this word, and force it on anyone. So again, this book gives me everything in science. Okay? It gives me everything, because making love is science. Did you know that? Making love. Having babies is science. Yeah. Growing up is science. It's, psychology is in science. Physiology is in science. It's all in science. And where does the science come from? If it's truth, it's coming from the book. That's right. So I like science. Again, another one is if people try to force saying they know your purpose, it's zero. It's intolerant. No, it's wrong. Okay? Every one of us in this world is called. Not one is left out. Everyone is called. And it's a choice. It's our will whether we want to do it or not. Okay? If we want to go ahead and do it. That's between you and God, not me. Okay? I have to sweep up my own front door. I have to take care of me. I have to study for me. And whatnot. Isn't that marvelous? Yeah, so I'm easy going that way. And people go, wow, easy going. Is she tickling my ears? No, I'm not tickling your ears. I'm being honest. I'm not here to force anything. There is nothing in the truth that tells me to force you to do anything. Okay? Now, in my studies, I've come to a lot of conclusions that I'm not quite sure. It's a prediction, but I would say, well, we only got like 86 more years to live, but who knows? You go study for yourself. But in the New Testament, we have a whole historical narrative of the fulfillment of what happened over back in this older part of the book there, of typical and verbal predictions of what was going to happen of the old. Yeah. So if I was always doing works, then I have not understood what more of the scriptures meant. Right? I'm still stuck over here. And there is no more tithing. Woohoo! Okay? Not the way people are telling you it. We tithe by paying our bills. We tithe by getting our groceries. We tithe by blessing others. So the word tithe is out. It's called blessings. My friends and I were talking about that at the river. So again, breathe. I know I was tested in ministry. It's, you got to tithe, got to tithe, got to tithe. Then I went and studied more and I go, how come you're not explaining tithing? It isn't because they didn't know. It's because they weren't going to. Tithing is done at the cross. Boom, that's it. Done. If you have, like Warren said, again, Warren Buffett is talking about love. He's talking about helping others, building others up. When you have those treasures, which I hope I'm able to build again, treasures, then you have that extra treasures to help others. Like he says, doodles to the ones that give away their money to church because they didn't take their kids to the movies the one night. But he's saying, and he's using a lot of wisdom here, and I'm listening to him. He's saying, hey, it's so good to give. But you got to have it to give. Right? If you don't have it, how are you supposed to give it? That's only common sense, right? A lot of us don't use common sense, and a lot of us just live on our own perceptions and not on what we are supposed to in a perspective. So this is the truth. So in this, when we are connected with the narrative, the fulfillment of the typical and verbal predictions of what happened before, what happens is the fulfillment here has been totally declared. Okay? Again, if we study, my dear friends, that there is no more prophets. That's right. We can dig way back in the old. So if you recognize patterns of people saying, I was called from God and I'm a prophet, but doesn't know much of the word, but is listening to somebody just to get pieces and pieces. I'm not making fun. I'm being very serious. There's too many cults out there. And we are all looking and seeking for something, and we're always looking for faith. Some kind of faith to grab a hold of. And most of the times it's man. So if you want to enjoy your life, you want to be able to observe. So I take my emotions, I stick it in my pocket for a bit, and I go, okay, this person seems very interested in me. Then I go, oh, okay, this person either doesn't communicate or is married or is, you go through your list, then that person shouldn't be doing what they're doing, but you need to listen. Okay. If the person is not have a partner and is showing interest and you're showing interest and you want to know, just say, I want to know your name. I want to just check you out a bit. Check me out. What do you want to know? Go on whatever. I don't know. I don't have much media left, but, don't be afraid to be you. Never mind the phony baloney stuff, because it's all going to be exposed anyways. Again, with this, the same with the truth. Okay. So like this man, like I told you, he comes down and he is doing this to me, and I says, okay, I want to check you out. Well, he says, I ain't got Facebook no more. Oh, I still want to check you out. I couldn't find him. I couldn't even, honestly, I couldn't find anything. So it's not going to work. Another fella does the same thing. Another fella does another thing. Another fella, and this is what they're doing. And the thing is, I'm going, okay, this is a game. We're coming down to Rhonda to play a game. I'm not playing. Stop. They say, stop right there. I gotta know right now. Before we go any further, do you love me? Yeah. So there's different kinds of love. And be very careful on that. Unfortunately, I had a bad spell on that. I bought someone a coffee. Next thing I know, they love me. In love. Well, you're the same age. No. You got to be very careful, okay? Because when we are vulnerable, we will fall into those traps, okay? But make life easier. So in the scripture is truth, okay? And it is love. Now, am I to go to my neighbor and go, oh, you have to? No, I'm going to take this, what I've learned, not what I don't know, because I won't know, but only what I do know, and I'm going to take it in my walk. I'm going to take it with me. I'm going to carry it inside here. I'm going to carry it around here. I'm going to carry it around here, wherever, and I'll walk that word. But what I don't know, I cannot explain it. Okay, so if you want to learn about investments and finances, go to Warren Buffett. If you want to learn about behavior analysts, I'm still learning. I only know little parts of it. Behavior analysts, Chase Hughes, Joe Navarro, Dr. Phil has lots of knowledge that you can learn from. I'm telling you, Andy Bustamante and CIA, like him and his wife. I mean, there are so many more. And Lisa, I can never say your name right, Lisa. She's on my media. And she has all these wonderful people come on and explain to her. And it teaches us how to keep our boundaries and know how important you are. Yeah. So it's really good. I like listening because she has some really good people that I have been reaching out to for help, and she has had on her show. So I'm very, very grateful for that. But yes, what I do not know, I don't know. I only can tell you what I learned from them and back it up in here. I can guarantee from this, if you believe in the book, that this world's no more than 6,000 years old. And the only way I can show that to you is also by the flood that we had. Okay? So in the flood, everything is like, when that flood came, it wasn't that long ago, right? That flood. And everything got embedded right into the walls, into the mountains, everything. And I'm talking when somebody was giving birth, an animal was giving birth, it was embedded in, and it was giving birth, just like that. It was a horrible, horrible flood. And so, look, there was only a few of them that survived. 8? So, again, that's how you can tell how old the earth is. So you can go back, you can check out those, the fossils from that, and it will tell you exactly how old this earth is. So this earth is no more than 6,000 years old. Okay. So along with this, that's why I love information. I have fun with it. It's like when I first learned anatomy and my DNA, and I thought the coolest thing was DNA. How am I supposed to learn that? Deoxyribonucleic acid. So I started putting it in a rhyme, and then I started to make it dance, and then I started to make a song, because that's the only way I could write the tests for my ears, for the eyes, for the nose, for the mouth. And that was the only way. And sometimes when I did that, it was very short term. So I would have so much to study, and then I go, I don't know how I got 100 on that test, because I don't remember half of it, because it was short-term memory, right? So to keep it in us, we got to keep going over it and over it and over it. I listen to Barbara O'Neill. Her family is with Science Net. She talks, and I'm going, holy moly, 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 moly. She talks about words that I remember back in school, but I never went that deep. And so if you want to hear a lot about science and stuff, she'll take you from the book and all that, and she'll explain it. It's amazing, because that's where I'm picking up a lot of tips and I'm sharing with you. Yeah. And so to get the old vitamins going, my skin, I put, like I said, castor oil, baking soda. Oh, baking soda is a wonder, that's for sure. Castor oil and ginger, I rub it in my joints. Men, honestly, men, I don't know if you want your children to hear this, because I want to talk about masturbation, so don't allow them to hear it. If you don't, mind you, it's a normal thing, because we do it since we were a child. Masturbation, gentlemen, keeps the plumbing going. If you're not making love, you got to keep it unplugged, because that's how, if it's not working, get yourself checked out, because it can be, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, it can be early signs of heart, it could be early signs of anything. Get your plumbing checked. Same with women, you have plumbing too, okay? So don't allow someone in cults to tell you can't do a lot of things. That's a choice you make, you do what you want, but we need the plumbing going, okay? Because when plumbing gets plugged up, what happens? We have to call a plumber. So when we get all plugged up and we can't help ourselves, we have to go to the doctors. Or we get a plumber to come in here and fix our sinks. So if we don't keep it clean, we don't keep the oil change on our vehicle, what happens? Breaks down. So it's all that we need. God gave us this body to enjoy the right way. Okay? Not to harm it, not to have others harm you. And, don't allow other people, they use excuses, well, you did this, you did that. No, if it's for oppression, do not blame yourself. Do not blame yourself, okay? The reason why they do is because people come in and learn more about you so they can play their games. So that means they have a dark heart and they have no idea what love is. And if it's to teach lessons, well, I feel sorry for them. Again, we need to be there to build each other up. All the person has to do is go, instead of harming, they could just go in the book and say, look, this is what I learned. If you're interested, I'm here. If you want to grow, if not, that's it. There's no more discussion. And you do it in your walk. Okay, you don't want to be hidden agenda. Never force people in your life. Never believe anybody says online, unless you know that person and get to know them. If they tell you to go check something out, then that's someone you want to be able to think about having around. Tell them, they say, go check it out, go check it out, go back around, go check it out. Okay, so that's a good thing. Again, breathe, relax. In this here, if you are a diligent searcher of the truth, of the scriptures, it cannot fail any way at all to any occasion, and it does have a pleasant astonishment. So if I'm telling you the word in here, the book says, do not make anyone stumble, do not oppress, do not, God never made you go do anything bad. He doesn't like that. So God didn't tell you you had to go and do anything to harm anybody. And that's where a lot of people will use Job and other places, in Ezekiel and other places, to cause problems. And I'm telling you right now, there is nothing in this word that tells you to do anything like that. If he tells you not to make people stumble, not to harm, and to have them living hope, and to take his word and do it in his walk, and he never forced you. Did he come down here and force you? No. He says you got a will, and you can do what you want. Did he not give the parable and riddle of Adam and Eve their will? That's a parable. Okay? Then the rib of Adam, the rib inside Adam, look it up. The rib is the walls. That's right. The support system, the walls. We have ribs in here to protect. Right? We have ribs here to protect. So you should see how great women are. Women are amazing in here. In this historical narrative book is astonishing everywhere. The same facts it's supposed. And here it's related and prepared for the same doctrines of it's gracious. Gracious redemption through Jesus Christ exhibited. It is supposed to be what? It's supposed to be true. So did you test it out? Does love build another one up? Does love tear another one down? Test it out. The same rules of what exemplifications of piety and virtues and motives, and thereto the same promises of mercy or threatenings of just misery to persons, societies, or nations. In here exhibit a single contradiction. So there is appearance of contradiction. It will be found that different passages do not respect the same thing or person. They don't add up in the same respect. So if it comes together, the old and the new comes together in unity, and it's gentle and it's balanced. But if it's not right, right? So it's a character of darkness. So any same respect of any circumstances, if it does not balance out and it's not love, there's no building the empire together. It's failing, it's tearing down. Another one. Winning an argument. We all want to win an argument. I'm right. I know. I mean, I was reaching the 30s. I know I'm right. I don't want to win, though. Winning is like revenge. Okay? There's a difference between right and there's a difference between revenge. Revenge is the most evilest thing ever. Revenge is horrible. When two have a disagreement, sometimes it's just good to shut your mouth. Slow to speak, quick to listen. Slow to anger. So again, revenge is the most evilest ever. You never want to win an argument. Wanting to win an argument, that is pride. That is destruction. That's like telling a narcissist to apologize to you. Not win. That's why it's good to talk it out. Maybe if you can't do it right then. Give the person time to think. Give the other person time. Just something you can resolve. And ladies and gentlemen, the best time to do is have it all done before you go to bed. Okay? You want to get all cushy in there. And not force. I'm serious, but there's time to joke and there's time to be serious. Okay? You don't want to, oh gosh, I'm making love. Oh, how's it making love? Oh my gosh, get off me. That's not love. It's like, yes, that's submitting. Okay? So again, in this, it's a pleasant astonishment. And if the word is not balanced and it's tearing someone down, it is exactly what you call a hurtful and hateful circumstance that somebody has done. So, in this, God has this most marvelous manner, and Warren Buffett was talking about that today, about building empires, about helping each other out, about spending your money. Enjoy it. If someone's counting out your money, everything you do, and you've paid your bills, and that's now nobody's business anyways. If you got a partner, he's to help you build that empire. Okay? Not tear it down. Again, the scriptures, the old and new, was testament from being lost or corrupted. Perhaps millions of other books seem more exciting. But this book here has helped me understand what Warren's talking about, what all these other big leaders are talking about. Okay? Nowhere in this book does it tell you that marriage is not 100-100. It tells you about this beautiful God who created everything. And he said, make sure that when you're with a partner, he's strong, he has a good foundation to be on, that, he's the head and, the leader of guiding and leading you of truth. Yeah. So then you are the pillars, you're the walls are with him, and you're helping build that house, build that empire. But if you don't have that at all, what happens? It falls apart, right? So, and that's the same with our children, same with our friends, same with whoever. And be careful. I mean, I lost a lot of people in my life. And it was heartbreaking, so I prayed for them. I prayed for, Lord, I'm so sick of praying. I would say anything to him because I'm just completely honest. If I lie to him, he's going to know my heart, and darn it. So then I say, okay, I pray for them. But I don't know how to pray for them anymore. So then he intervenes and he'll do his work. And that's the same with another, ladies and gentlemen. Are we afraid to die? Why are we afraid to die? Because the fear of not knowing. Oh my gosh, the pain. Oh gosh. You know what I did? It's a battle. It's a battlefield in my mind. I say, Lord, maybe I just don't know enough of your word. Maybe I have some other idea. I don't know what it is. But I pray for all of us in this whole world, myself and everyone, for all of us that get scared. Help us not to be scared. Can you make it so that when it does time to come to happen, that something, this great thing happens, so that we're not scared? And I pray for everybody across the universe because I'm in that boat, and I was in private and public, I go, oh my gosh, the anxiety just hit in, oh my gosh. And it's true. It's not funny. It's, it sounds funny when I'm speaking a lot of times, but I get scared too, and I know because I went and called one of my friends. I'm scared. I didn't want to be there alone. God gave us people here on this earth so we could be there for each other and help build each other up, not hide from each other and tear each other down. Now we have to learn from our mistakes if somebody's not doing anything, but I'm not going to go around and keep cleaning everybody else's home so you can live in it. You don't use people. You be grateful for them. So in this, and you have a partner, if you're renting a place, what do? You got to respect their place. So you're going to do everything you can. And I say unto the Lord, he has always taught me to make sure my place would be as clean as I can. There's other times when I'm not feeling good. It ain't gonna happen, but you know what I mean. Respect. Again, and even if it belongs to you, it doesn't really belong to you. Respect it, because when you're gone here, it's gonna go on to somebody else and somebody else and somebody else. But again, I think we got 86 years, but who knows? I'm just saying from my studies. That's my studies. Okay, that's the only reason I say that. Again, in this, all are welcome to know the truth. It rains on people that don't believe, and it rains on people that believe. Okay? So get deep rooted in customs and hardened inclinations and long fixed laws of Jews and heathens, and that contrary to every temptation from outward advantages, notwithstanding every conceivable form of opposition of the gospel, should, within a few years after Christian ascension, be preached in almost every corner of the Roman Empire and the countries adjacent. So I go, okay, Lord, when did this happen? Where did it happen? Why did it happen? So I have to ask these questions, Lord, because you said not to scare people away. If I push the word on you, what are you going to do? I don't even want to get to know that God that you're talking about. never mind. You're a screw up. You know that song that movie with George Burns and Brain Fog sings Country Roads. And so I was listening to them, and in the movie, it talks about, when George talks, oh my goodness, God makes mistakes. And no, he doesn't make mistakes. And God would not ask him to go and force the word on anyone. Is it called Oh God or something? I haven't seen it in yours. Oh my God. It is. I'm going to shut my TV off. But anyways, in this movie, I'm thinking, oh my gosh. Now, will you really believe, it's a comedy, but would you really believe God would ask someone to go and force the word out on everyone? How it was done was everybody thought he was a nut job, right? Because if I went and forced something on you, what would happen? Right? So when I force something on you, of course I get knocked off the internet, I always do. Every single day. And then what they do is they have fun. They change their names on the internet. All networks set up all the time. So I just go, whatever. Because it's just a fun game they play. So in this movie, he tells them to go out and tell everybody, look at the different names they give, to go out and force God, basically. And then there was more and more mistakes. So God doesn't make mistakes. And God wouldn't force you. God wouldn't ask you to force his word. He said, speak his word of truth if you have ears to hear. If you have ears to hear, he knows who will hear and who won't. He said, do it in your walk. So, that's what he's talking about. So we never force that. So if anybody has done that, I'm sorry they did that to you. You have to be a willing human being to go and do that. Do you think like people like Warren Buffett and that would force you to go and invest? No, you'd be willing to go learn and get knowledge and wisdom. So in this, right? So, oh yes, here it is. Though I really, the word is really quite simple. The parables and riddles in this book is all about what? About just saying, hey, I'm a darn sinner, and you know what? And I need my heart changed. Get a double crop going. But again, it says watch later because I didn't finish watching it. It's not coming up right now, but just look it up. I'll share it with you. It's an old movie. And so I was watching the different things in the comedy about him. And I mean, his wife's going, okay, you're a real screwball. But what was happening is God was just showing, letting him know that who God is and that God is there with you. And through the hard and the good times. I can't get it to come up for some reason. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter. I'll share it with you. But in this, it's just share it. You don't force. You don't force. God did his miracles already in the book. His miracle he does now is changes our hearts. So we're here to build each other up. He doesn't make me grow extra fingers and extra toes. And he doesn't, make me come alive from being dead. And the only dead part he takes me from is having a dark way into the light. So that's what the word is. And again, it's not about revenge. We do not want to revenge anybody. We talk about that at the river too. About marriages, about things like that. Well, what happened? Okay. We don't want revenge on anybody. Do you want revenge on anybody? When you're really angry, you don't want revenge. So I would say, oh Lord, I don't want revenge on anybody. I want discipline. And discipline, his way, is pure love. His way. And they do that in restorative justice, and you do that in your marriage with your children and whoever. So again, it's an eye-opener. It's an eye-opener. And again, if you got a partner, don't try to win an argument. I mean, it's your choice, but tell me where it gets you. Because trying to win an argument is pride. And it's not going to get us anywhere. Trying to resolve an argument, if you can't do it right then, find out ways, work it out. You'll know, but you'll know you're right for each other because you'll build each other up. You won't tear each other down, ever, 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 ever. So, again, just something to think about, because the word is balanced. Its predictions, especially above circumstantiated, necessary, applying, looking with and determining. Look at this, certainly through an infinity of possible events, seeing and determining what shall certainly happen and not happen. So that we labor together in prayers and powerful influence and building each other up. And it's right here in the book. And so, be careful. Stay out of the wildfire. Stay in the peace fire. There's a difference between taking risks and taking chances. Risk, don't go into the wildfire, jump in, whatever. But taking the chance of believing in yourself and getting out of the mud mindset and get some growth and get it into knowledge. Will you take really good care of yourself? I'll share the movie. Again, God is not about forcing this. I'm never going to come to you and force anything on you. I never have. I never will. And there's a lot of times I failed and I had to learn from it. As soon as I learned from that mistake, I knew I was growing. As soon as I knew, I was growing. It's an analogy of faith, and what the plan is revealed is the truth into the agreement with the plain scope and tendency of the passages, which gave me balance and to learn to observe. And I hope you can take that into your walk today. I am Rhonda Fair from Feed from His Basket. Jesus, and He is love. And God bless.